Defending the faith is important, not just to our kids, but to people who don't know the Lord. Because if they see that you're willing to look for the answers and bring them the answers, they might say, well, you know what, there's something to this. But the phrase, trust the science, makes no sense. It's a catch-22. Trust the science is the most unscientific statement, because science itself is quite literally about questioning things. So saying trust the science is like saying trust the questions. There's no such thing as settled science. We can find answers in the Bible. This is why it's important to look at science through the filter of the Bible, not to look at the Bible through the filter of science. And if we talk to those who only have science as their God, they have to make sense of everything else. But for us, we put God first, and then everything else makes sense. I'm glad I know God first, because then everything else I read in the science books makes sense. If I had to gather science to get to God, I would have to make sense of all this stuff. It doesn't make any sense. The world, the way people are, it doesn't make any sense. You've heard me say before, when we talk about, I've used this phrase a lot, questions don't need answers, people do. What does that mean, Pastor? It means that because your life is limited, the most important questions you have should be about eternity and about finding God. When you've discerned whether or not to talk to someone and you enter into this dialogue, this should be part of it. When I say be respectful and have manners with other people, I mean let them talk, even if you disagree. It's fair. Let them talk. It's wonderful to spend your life studying the wonders of science. And this is what I mean about questions don't need answer, people do. But when you're on your deathbed, I can promise you're not going to be talking about, so if light has the same speed in an accelerated reference frame as it does in a resting reference frame, and the distance in a gravitational field is longer because of space curvature, but it gets there at the same time, must be because time's moving slower and the gravitational pull, but that just tells me how gravity works. But I know it distorts time. I need to know what it is. Also, general relativity is right out the window with the singularity, black hole stuff, and quantum mechanics, if it's right. Is it possible? What's that thing that hangs down in the back of my throat? What's that called? Why do we call them buildings when they're already built? Shouldn't they be called builts? If flies had wings, didn't have wings, would they be called walks? None of these questions need answers, do they? None of them need answers. They don't need an answer. People need answers. But when you're on your deathbed, not one of those questions is going to come to your mind. It's not important. You don't need the answer. You do. There's one question that every single person needs the answer to when they're on their deathbed. You know what that question is? God, are you there? Are we okay? That question needs answered. That's the only question that really needs an answer in your entire life. Questions don't need answered. People need answers.